That's crazy. I mean, then you have to be consistent. But the whole purpose in you coming in, the complaint against you was not valid. That's what I'm saying.
There was no complaint against me. It was just, the lawyer saying, hey, this person, this.
Yeah, but that was bogus.
It was bogus. Absolutely, 100%.
They were not in the same zoning at all.
Plus, they are not agricultural.
Yeah.
He has no products.
Yeah.
He has no. It's not producing
Exactly.
$10,000 a year worth of.
He doesn't come under ag and markets
Not
at
even
all.
close. Not even
He's
close.
not in an ag district.
So, but hey, here we are. I'll denounce myself and go like you did. I go stand over.
Well, now, I was just told we were supposed to go in
Away?
that room.
We're supposed to go away?
Well, out of this room.
All right.
We can go in that back room and shut the door. They're going to talk about it.
I'll go do a couple laps outside. I'll go shovel some snow. I don't know.
And you are at the end, so
I am.
technically
Yep.
you could leave if
Yep.
you wanted to, I think.
Just sit in the audience.
No, you're not allowed to.
Are you not?
Huh?
Evening. We'll open the meeting with the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Agenda, Town of Marlborough Planning Board, March 2nd, regular meeting, 7 p.m. Announcements, communications, public hearings. LaFaro Timber Harvest is here for a public hearing for Route 4455. Applicant is seeking to harvest trees. We have a T-Mobile amended public hearing, 366 Mount Zion Road, Marlborough. Applicant is seeking amendment to the existing site plan. We have ongoing application review for Katrina Nason, 99 Peach Lane. Applicant is seeking a two-lot subdivision. We have Dock Road, 103 to 137 Dock Road, Marlborough. Applicant is seeking to develop 106 multi-family with clubhouse, preliminary final. We have 44 Western Avenue. Applicant is seeking to add a business on the lower level, sketch. And then we have a new application, Nostrano's Winery, 14 Gala Lane, Milton. Applicant is seeking approval for events on existing agricultural property. There will be no special topic or discussions. Next deadline is Friday, March 6, 2026. Next scheduled meeting is Monday, March 16th, 2026.
The Nostrano's actually should be vineyard and not winery.
Thank you. Nostrano's Vineyard. Does anybody have anything? Any training? I do want to remind everybody that there was sexual harassment training. I know 3 of us did it. You are considered employees of the town of Marlborough. You are required to do that. Tina sent the link, so I would appreciate it if you take the time to finish that 1-hour training, and you do get 1 hour of continuing education on that. Okay? Last meeting, we had a member recuse themselves. And I met with the supervisor, and I also met with Lenny Kahn, the ZBA chairman. And I just want to talk about recusing yourself when you have to and when you may, okay? And in short, there are particular instances when a board member must recuse themselves. Those situations are described in Code Section 13 and include certain financial contractual relationships and immediate family members, grandparents, parents, spouse, significant others, children, grandchildren, brothers, sisters, dependents, or any other household member, which relationships create a clear conflict of interest. However, these are not only circumstances in which a board member may recuse themselves. The code says that a board member should not engage in matters which are in conflict with or might reasonably tend to conflict with the proper discharge of his or her duties in the public interest. Recusal can be appropriate when an interest could affect the board member's ability to act impartially or create an appearance of impropriety. And town officials and employees are reminded that it is not necessary that a specific provision of the general municipal law or chapter be violated for a conflict of interest to exist. There is a lot of discretion by the individual board member to determine whether they feel they are not able to act impartially in review of an application or that their doing so would create the appearance of impropriety. When a board member recuses themselves, they may not actively participate in deliberations or voting. Additionally, an Attorney General opinion from 1995 stated a board member with a conflict of interest should not sit with his or her fellow board members during the deliberations and actions regarding the matter. The mere presence of the board member holds the potential of influencing fellow board members. Though the Marlborough Code does not appear to require the recused member to leave the room entirely, this procedure is typically in other municipalities and likely appropriate to further avoid the appearance of undue persuasions on the board. So the supervisor, Lenny, and myself agreed that we are going to ask that all members of our boards, if you are going to recuse themselves, you must let the chairman know and the secretary know prior to the meeting so there's no surprises. And then we are also I'm going to ask my board members that when a board member is going to recuse themselves, we will adjust the agenda and move that item to the end. So that member may leave the room, completely leave the room. And that's going to be the procedure as we move forward. Okay? Everybody good with that?
Yep.
Wonderful. So with that, we'll move right into approval of the minutes of February 2nd, 2026. May I have a motion, please? Joe, seconded by Bobby. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. So we have the public hearing for LaFaro Timber Harvest. Is anybody here for LaFaro Timber Harvest? Please come on up.
Good evening.
Wonderful. Give us a brief up on what you're doing.
Sure. My name is Christopher Prentice with Lower Hudson Forestry. What we're proposing is a selective timber harvest on 3 tax parcels located off of State Route 4455. Approximately 105 acres of 131.9 acres to be harvested. Property was harvested approximately 12 years ago. We're going to be using the same landing, the same trails, same area that was cut 12 years ago. Just going to be recut this time around. There's no rare, threatened, endangered species on or near the site. There's no wetlands, streams. It's not in a critical environmental area. Like I said, we'll be using the same landing as last time, which is located right on the State Route 4455. All the trails, landing will be cleaned up upon completion. All best management practices as defined by the DEC for timber harvesting will be installed to prevent erosion, sedimentation control. It's expected to take 2 to 3 months depending on weather. That's pretty much what we're proposing.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, we're going to move right into the public hearing. Legal notice, site plan application for timber harvest. Please take notice, a public hearing will be held by the Marlborough Planning Board pursuant to the Town of Marlborough Town Code 15531 and 141-2 on Monday, March 2nd, 2026 for the following application, LaFaro Timber Harvest at the Town Hall, 21 Milton Turnpike, Milton, New York at 7 p.m. or soon thereafter, as may be heard. The applicant is asking for site plan approval for timber harvest on lands located at State Route 4455 Highland, New York, Section 95-2, Block 2, Lot 18, Section 95-3, Block 1, Lot 25, Section 95.3, Block 1, Lot 19. Any interested parties, either for or against this proposal, will have an opportunity to be heard at this time. Documents and materials submitted in connection with the application can be viewed at agendas at marlboroughnewyork.org. Stephen Jennison, Chairman, Town of Marlborough Planning Board. The meeting tonight is for the conduct of town business by the Planning Board. The public is invited to participate at any items marked on the agenda public hearing. During that segment of the meeting, if you have a question or comment for the chairman and the board, please raise your hand and wait to be acknowledged. Please state your full name and limit your remarks to 3 minutes. Thank you for your anticipated cooperation. Is there anybody here to be heard at this time? Is there anybody here to be heard? One more time. Is there anybody here to be heard for the public hearing for LaFaro Timber Harvest?
I make a motion to close the public hearing.
We have a motion to close the public hearing and seconded by John. Okay, Pat?
The applicants have addressed our previous comments. We reviewed the Part 2 EAF a month ago, I believe, and each of those items were no to small impact, and I have prepared a Part 2 for the board's use, and we have no outstanding comments. There typically would be a security required for access to town roads, but this access is an existing roadway cut on DOT's project, so there's no need for that security.
Okay. All right, so we need to adopt Part 2. Or what?
We didn't do the mailings.
Oh, you have the mailings?
They were sent out.
You're supposed to jump in there, Jen.
She is.
40 were sent out. One
Okay.
was returned as undeliverable. There was quite a few duplicates.
I will never let that happen again. Okay. Now, we need to adopt Part 2.
I recall that the board reviewed the Part 2, but I don't recall if you actually adopted it.
All right, so I need a motion to adopt Part 2. Motion by Bobby, seconded by Fred. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. All right, so now we have the Part 3 of the AAF prepared by council. All members have been, we're giving that. Has all the members reviewed Part 3 narrative? Is anybody not? Okay. So the Town of Marlborough Planning Board, Part 3 AAF narrative evaluation of potential impacts for LaFaro Timber Harvest, March 2nd. The proposed action is the application of Green Lumber Company LP, the applicant, on behalf of Eric, Sean, and Mary LaFaro, the owners of site plan approval for selective timber harvest of 1,513 hardwood trees and 82 firewood trees on 105 acres on property in the C2 R Ag 1 zoning districts identified as tax parcel numbers 95.2, 218, 95.3, 125, and 95.3-119. We had gone all through these. Based on the analysis hereon, the findings contained in the PEAF Part 2, the application materials and evaluation reports of the town consultants, the proposed action will not create any significant adverse environmental impacts, and a negative declaration is warranted under SECRA. How'd I do?
That's great. I did also prepare the negative declaration, but I think you can vote on this EAF part.
Okay, so let's take a vote on the Part 3. Can I have a motion, please? Nick? Oh, Bobby? Seconded by Joe. Any discussion? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, so now we've done our Part 2, Part 3. Now we're going to do our site plan approval. Hannah?
Oh, I'm sorry, no, we do the negative declaration first.
Okay.
This is just confirming basically the findings in the EAF code 3, saying that there will be no significant environmental impacts. And then authorizing the filing of this document, because this is a type 1 action, negative declarations need to be filed with the environmental, notice bulletin.
Okay. I just remind everybody, you got to speak into the microphone because we are being recorded for the public. Okay.
Would you like me to repeat what I just said?
No, it's okay.
All right.
All right, so Eric, Sean, and Mary LaFaro as owners of Green Lumber Company LP as applicant for the site plan approval for Timber Harvest, Town of Marlborough Planning Board, secret negative declaration and notice of determinations of non-significance. Jen, will you poll the board?
Chairman Jennison.
Yes.
Member Lanzetta.
Yes.
Member LaFaro.
Yes.
Member Cowell.
Yes.
Member Transalito.
Yes.
Member Lamella.
Yes.
Member Pazzo.
Yes.
Okay. That's the negative deck. Now, Town of Marlborough resolution, Eric, Sean, and Mary LaFaro as owners of Green Lumber Company as the applicant of site plan approval for Timber Harvest. Fred, you offered the following resolution, and which was seconded by John, who moved for the adoption, whereas Green Lumber Company, on behalf of Eric, Sean, and Mary LaFaro, applied to the Town of Marlborough Planning Board for a site plan approval pursuant to the Marlborough Town Code. Will you poll the board, please?
Chairman Jennison.
Yes.
Member Lanzetta.
Yes.
Member Cowell.
Yes.
Member LaFaro.
Yes.
Member Transalito.
Yes.
Member Lamella.
Yes.
Member Pazzo.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Could you, Mr. Chairman, make a specific finding as to these conditions here? It's not typical, but there are a handful.
Certainly. Which page was that on?
3.
So be it further resolved that the planning board approves the site plan application under chapter 141 of the code subject to the following conditions: payment of all municipal fees and consultant expenses of the planning board, New York State DOT review and approval of the access point for New York State Route 4455. In accordance with code 141-7, the applicant should post the performance bond in the amount of $5,000 plus a $1,000 inspection fee pursuant to code 141-6. Should trees fall on adjacent property, the applicant shall immediately remove the felled trees to the subject property. Would you like another vote on that? Yes.
I would love it.
Yes. So Fred made the motion and John seconded that motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I won't let that happen again. You are all done.
Okay, quick question. The DOT, I mean, it was a permitted access 12 years ago. What would I need to do now?
Just get something from them saying that it's okay. Probably an email from them.
Okay,
Would be fine.
fair enough.
They're gonna issue a permit because it's existing.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. T-Mobile. Welcome. How you doing tonight? Wonderful. Tell us about your project when you get a moment. If you'll just turn the microphone on and tell us who you are.
My name is Arian Eastman. I am with Centerline representing T-Mobile and American Towers. Our proposed project is a co-location at the existing cell tower at 366 Mount Zion Road. It is a 260-foot guided tower. We are looking for a final overall equipment plan with 4 antennas, 8 radios, 3 hybrid cables, 2 ground cabinets, and an H-frame. And that'll be situated on a 10 by 13 concrete pad.
Wonderful. Legal notice, special use permit application. Please take notice. A public hearing will be held by the Marlborough Planning Board pursuant to the Town of Marlborough Town Code 152-17 on March 2nd, 2026 for the following application: T-Mobile Northeast LLC. At the Town Hall, 21 Milton Turnpike, Milton, New York, at 7 p.m. or soon thereafter, as may be heard. The applicant is seeking a special permit approval to co-locate antennas and install equipment cabinets on an existing telecommunication tower on lands located at 366 Mount Zion Road, Marlborough, New York. Section 102.3, Block 1, Lot 36.100. Any interested parties thereafter, either for or against this proposal, will have the opportunity to be heard at this time. Stephen Jennison, Chairman, Town of Marlborough Planning Board. Is there anybody here to speak on for or against? Is there anybody here to speak for or against? Is there anybody here to speak for or against?
I make a motion to close the public
We have
hearing.
a motion to close the public hearing by Fred. Yes, we want the mailings too. Good job. You'll hand those to Jen. She was supposed to tell me. And we have a motion by John. You want to give those to Jen, please?
Yeah.
How many did you send out and how many came back?
We sent out 5 and only 1 came back.
Wonderful. Good. Okay. Pat, what do you got for us?
We have no outstanding comments on this, other than we need to complete a final review of the structural report that was submitted. So I know Hannah did the resolution, but we would like to add that at the end. My office just needs to finish that. Otherwise, the co-location on an existing tower is your preferred method for locating towers in the town, according to your wireless code.
So are we adding that as a condition?
Yes, I would like to
To
do
add
that.
this as a condition, subject to final structural sign-off. Yes, so actually, you can say you have, this draft resolution of approval before you, and you'd like to make a motion to add this as a condition. So A, B, C, D, and E
E will be what?
will be,
Subject to final structural sign-off by MHE.
Subject to final sign off by what?
My office.
By M,
MHE, my office.
what is it?
MHE, my office.
Oh, yeah. Fred, you got a question?
I have one question for you. When you put the new equipment up on the tower, do they take the old equipment off the tower?
In this case, no, because we don't have any equipment on it. So,
Fair, thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. Planning Board of the Town of Marlborough, Resolution American Tower Corp. as owners and T-Mobile Northeast LLC as applicant for a special use permit approval. Joe, you offered the following resolution. And Nick, you move for a second for adoption. Whereas T-Mobile Northeast LLC, on behalf of property owners American Tower Corp., has applied for a special use permit approval for real property located at 366 Mount Zion Road in the town of Marlborough, New York, 12542, identified as tax parcel number 102-3-1-36.100, located in the R Ag 1 zone district. And now therefore be it resolved that the town of Marlborough, that the town planning board of Marlborough approves the issues the special use permit request upon the following conditions. A, payment of all municipal and consultant expenses of the planning board. B, pursuant to code 155-22, the applicant and owner will execute and file with the town a bond or other acceptable security in the amount of at least $75,000. C, pursuant to code 152-24, the applicant will provide proof of annual NIER certification for the site with the addition of the array proposed. D, the applicant otherwise fully complies with the applicable requirements contained in Chapter 152 of the code insofar as they apply to this project. And E, subject to the final sign-off by his office. Jen, pull the board, please.
Chairman Jennison.
Yes.
Member Lanzetta.
Yes.
Member Callow.
Yes.
Member LaFaro.
Yes.
Member Transalito. Yes. Member Lamella.
Yes.
Member Pazzo.
Yes.
Wonderful.
thank you.
Have a wonderful evening.
So did you write this in? Or would you like me to get you a final version? Got it.
Okay, ongoing application review, Katrina Nason. 99 Peach Lane, Milton, seeking a two-lot subdivision. Tell us about your project, please.
Good evening, Chris Rizzi, representing Miss Nason at 99 Peach Lane. We're proposing a two-lot subdivision served by a common driveway and on-site septics and wells. I guess most recently, the wetland on the property was delineated. All disturbances are outside of the buffer of that wetland. The septics are currently under review by the health department. I have a preliminary approval by them. At this point, just looking to continue the seeker process.
Okay, Pat, what do you got?
A private driveway access and maintenance agreement will be required. The septic system final approval from Ulster County Health Department. We do have an email from them identifying that they are acceptable. I believe they're waiting for a seeker determination. We circulated the project for lead agency on February 5th. Unfortunately, because February is a short month, the 30 days hasn't elapsed. But I believe this project is scheduled for a public hearing on the 16th.
Yes.
So prior to that, we can close out seeker. It'll require coverage under the DEC Stormwater Speedies permit, and we like that prior to signing of the maps. And then the highway superintendent comments, I believe, are outstanding.
Jen, we didn't receive any comments from John on this project?
I don't believe so,
Okay.
unless it was like early on.
Hannah, what do you got?
So I had that we had discussed setting the public hearing for the 16th, but that we didn't actually set it because we were going to wait and see what seeker documents we could get figured out by then and whether we got lead agency approval back.
I don't recall setting it either.
So I think, and now at the next meeting, because I had prepared a draft part 2 and part 3, but we won't be going through that now because we don't know for sure about lead agency, so that will be pushed to the 16th. I could also draft, we need to have, in this instance,
It's a subdivision.
it's a subdivision. We have to complete seeker before we hold the public hearing. So I would suggest that we push it to the next, which would be the April
6th? April 6th?
and then we can have concluded seeker by that time, hold the public hearing, and then discuss, if appropriate, consideration of a resolution of adoption or approval.
So we really can't do anything?
We can set the public hearing. Let's set the public hearing for the 6th.
We can set it without lead agency?
Yeah, we just can't take action.
Okay. Does that work for you, April 6th?
No, I'll be out of town on the 6th.
How about the 20th?
The next one should be fine.
Okay.
April 20th.
Jen, that works for you, April 20th? Okay, that gives us enough time. So no action by us tonight. Any questions for the board? Cindy, Nick, anybody have anything?
We're gonna move
No?
through seeker.
Okay. So do we need a motion then? Yeah, why don't we do a motion to set the public hearing for April 20th? Joe?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Joe and John, right? Okay. Which one? Okay, so we're up to Orchards on the Hudson.
Wait, we don't know about lead agency yet. So that's for next meeting. And then on April 6th, sorry, 20th, we can do the.
Good evening. If you would turn the microphone on, we are recording now. So.
Thank you.
Go ahead and state your name and what you're doing.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, and to the board members, to the town staff. My name is Mark Blanchard. I'm an attorney. I'm with the Blanchard Law Group, 35 East Grassy Sprain Road, Suite 400, Yonkers, New York. I am here on behalf of the applicant, We are quite far along in our approval process. We had submitted a proposed final map, final subdivision map. There it is. Received comments from Mr. Hines' office today. I think we have an amendment to make to the map. As the board members recall, there is a closer up to Route 9, there was a carve-out for a dedication of parking to the town, a dedication of land to be converted to a parking area for municipal parking to the town. That concept arose as a mitigation measure during the course of the review, and in full transparency was my brilliant idea to make sure that we showed that on the final map proposal, which is on there now. Because my reasoning was, as a mitigation measure during the process, it came out of the public hearing process, came out of the review, and it should be on there. But I think I made a mistake. Mr. Hines pointed out. This then would take away, the final plat would be much different than the proposed, the initial submission. So we're happy to remove that. Because it really is, as it is has been pointed out, even Hannah confirmed it later this afternoon, that really is a condition of site plan approval, and is, even though they're so closely sort of aligned content-wise and process-wise, it's a different procedure. So as far as the map is concerned, it need not show the carve-out for the town, so we can amend that, be happy to resubmit it. And then also, there needs to be clarification on the owner, who owns parcel 2 and parcel 1, so we're happy to add that to the map as well. So sorry to steal your thunder over there, but that's, we recognize the comments and happy to oblige.
Wonderful. Pat?
Yeah, following up on Mr. Blanchard, the area dedicated to the town, I don't have any indication that the town is going to accept that. I didn't want a map filed saying, owned by the town of Marlborough, to be constructed a parking lot, when no, the town board's agreed to that yet. So with that being removed and they can work that issue out during the site plan, I think it'll be better than filing that map with that information on there.
Okay.
And it'll be an offer of dedication, Mark, not just the deed to the town?
Correct, yes. Yeah, I mean, that, whatever the procedures are for the, it's sort of a little more procedurally intensive to essentially give or dedicate land to a municipality, so we'd have to follow that course of action. Ultimately, though, the concept is the town ultimately has ownership, but there's some steps in front of that we have to do.
And we don't, right, and as Mark said, we don't need that on the map to grant final lot line approval, because it wasn't a condition of the lot line, it was a condition of the site plan and special use permit. So once we have this revised map, and it's, what's the language? If the final plat is in substantial agreement with the approved preliminary plat, then we don't need to have another public hearing, and the board can approve that. So I presume that'll be next meeting.
Yeah, I mean, we have a fire lit under us, so we'll have these revisions turned around right away, probably next 48 hours. So we'd love to stay on your agenda for the next meeting, and I think it's the 16th, and to be back up here for a board action if possible.
That'll keep you in the approval window in the resolution.
That's what we thought, so, yeah.
Okay. I'm still showing Dock Road, you still have a rec fee of $212,000. That's outstanding.
Yes, I know that one of the principals on the project called me this afternoon and said he was in touch with the town supervisor and has, they were under the impression that they could pay that much later on, so they're making that happen now to have that be paid.
Okay, good.
And that's a site plan condition. That's based on the unit count. This is subdivision.
Right.
I was given it to remind.
Yep.
I was told to expect that.
Any questions from anybody?
Yeah, I've got a couple questions. I was told the property's up for sale. Can you answer that one way or the other, please?
That would be news to me. I talked to the owner this afternoon, and he is full bore, he is, they're doing all kinds of testing related to the SWIP and other things for site plan, and there's lots of activity over there, so I'm not aware of that.
All right, if you say so.
Unless that happened between 3:30 and right now.
I'll take your word on that.
Well,
Okay?
I'm telling you, I have no knowledge of that whatsoever. I would be enormously surprised if that was true. Or not true, but if that is the case.
All right. And when are they going to tear the buildings down?
I don't know, but I'll come back with an answer on the 16th for that.
Get that answer for the 16th, I appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you. That's it.
Joe, John, Cindy, have anything? Nick, Fred? Okay. We'll see you on the 16th.
Okay, great, thank you.
All right, wonderful.
Friday is the cutoff.
Oh, wonderful, thank you, John.
40 Western Avenue. So just to remind you, we are being recorded tonight for the public, and if you just speak into the microphone and tell us who you are and what you're doing.
Great. Good evening, Chairman, board members. Ken Lytle representing 40 Western Avenue LLC. It's an existing building there on Western Avenue. We've been before the board once prior to this. Pat's office gave us some comments. We addressed most of those comments. We have some new comments he's addressed or given to us this afternoon. A couple things he was asking for before was the layouts of the existing building and the proposed layouts for the basement area for the office for the owner. And Pat has some adjustments we need to make to the parking area, so it actually makes it a better flow of everything. Board's got more comments.
Pat, you want to go through yours?
Yeah, we received a letter from the code enforcement officer, kind of the gatekeeper letter, as they call it, identifying the numerous changes to the site and why it's before this board for an amended site plan. The response from the county, and I believe it was from the county DPW, identifies the project as a residential structure.
We'll get that modified, but it's going to the
So we're
county.
going to need that further clarified, as it is not that. It needs to go to county planning. It says county highway, that comment 3 should say planning. We're looking for those parking spaces to be dimensioned. I was surprised to see that the entrance to the office is that basement cellar type entrance thing.
That's the only access he has for his own personal office.
I wanted to confirm that.
Okay.
And then there's reference on the plan for office use and storage. I just wanted to clarify what storage was going to occur there, as it's a multi-use building, making sure there's no hazardous, flammable, or other things stored there. I think it's a roofing company.
Absolutely correct. So he has actually put his tools in there in the winter months.
So I think it might be appropriate to have notes on there that no storage of flammable, combustible, hazardous materials and sectors should be there. Several of the parking stalls seem to conflict. I think you might be trying to put too much parking in there. You do get credit for 5 parking spaces in the hamlet zoning, so maybe if you reduce some, those
5, okay.
There'd be some creative backing to use the ones on the, I guess, southwest corner there, as if 2 people back out at the same time, they're going to meet. So maybe some spaces and take advantage of that hamlet parking zoning.
Okay.
And again, it does need county planning referral, which we can probably do at this time.
Okay. Hannah?
So these are changes that need to happen on this map, Pat?
Yes, some of them.
So we'll have those changes made before sending to county, or upon the changes being received, sent to county?
Is it possible to send him to Pat's office for his review?
Well,
Move the process along?
I'm okay with giving approval to send to county after.
After Pat confirms that these
Yeah.
modifications
Is that
are made.
acceptable?
Yes, for me it is.
Yeah.
Is that acceptable with everybody? All right, so for number 3, we're going to refer to the county after Pat signs off. Can I have a motion, please?
Make that motion.
And seconded by Nick. John and Nick. Any discussion on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Have we actually deemed this a type 2, or did we just discuss it?
I don't think we have.
It is a type 2 though.
Yeah.
This
Let's
is-
have a motion.
We're going to make this a type 2 action.
Type 2.
Can I have a motion?
Commercial less than 4,000 square feet.
Right, which is a type 2 action.
I'll make that motion.
John?
I'll second.
Seconded by Nick. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, so then we won't schedule another meeting until we get back from county.
That's correct.
Right? Okay?
Good enough, thank you
So
so
you'll
much.
get back with Pat,
Yep.
and
So
we'll send it
go
to
ahead and
county.
give him the plans.
Okay?
That'll be great.
Thank you very much. Well, we were all waiting for Patty to show up. Patty, you're on. You couldn't hit that any timer.
Steve, should I recuse myself now?
Yeah.
Should I put that on record?
Yeah.
Well, I'm at OSHA right now.
Okay.
I left a little doll in my seat so I could sneak back there to finish up.
Okay, so 1 second. Nick has something to say.
I'm going to recuse myself due
Yes.
to conflict here and exit my way out here.
Okay, so you're going to leave? Yes. Thank you, Nick.
Are you joining me on this side? Or you have to go outside? Oh.
Okay. Patty, do you want to tell us who you are and what you're doing?
Absolutely. Patty Brooks, and I am representing Nostrano Vineyards this evening. Kaylee and Nick of Nostrano Vineyards have an existing vineyard and tasting room located off Gala Lane, which is a private road off Latin Town Road. They've been operating there about 10 years with the agricultural. They are interested in holding events at a barn or tent area on the property. So we are here this evening to review the event portion of this agricultural property. We
Okay.
did receive Pat's comments if you want to review them.
Pat, you want to go through your comments, please?
So it's not clear from my review of the application, the intensity of the use. I don't know how many guests will be at the venue for this proposed use, and that'll domino into the septic system, the parking, the potential impacts to traffic, et cetera.
Pat, did you get both sheets 1 of 2 and 2 of 2?
Yes.
Because on sheet 2 of 2, we had the site use, active agricultural farmland, agricultural processing, farm winery and tasting room, and then public events in accordance with applicable agricultural, ag and markets guidelines. The days of operation were listed as 7 days a week. The hours of operation for the tasting room were 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. February through December, and events 11 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. April through November with 150 people max.
I did not see the 150. Okay.
Thank you.
I'm wondering if this should be set up for a preliminary conference for all agencies involved. You have at least the Highway Department and Jurisdictional Emergency Services. There is a existing building or bathroom building and septic area. We're looking for the capacity of that. The Ulster County Health Department should weigh in on that. Parking calculations should be provided and areas delineated for parking. Site lighting should be added to the plans. There are symbols on the plans that say lights, but I don't know if that's some kind of overflow parking or event parking. Hours of operation, Patty just identified. ADA accessibility to the buildings should be addressed. Comments from the fire department. The use of the private roadway. Gala Lane is a private road, so I think we need to take a look at that private road access and maintenance agreement to make sure that it doesn't limit that. Those residents on that road have the responsibility, and I'm not sure if this parent parcel does, for the operation and maintenance of that road, and now we're adding a more intense use to that, so.
Yeah, the parent parcel actually owns Gala Lane, and solely at this point in time, I'll have to get a copy of the roadway maintenance agreement, but right now they solely take care of the entirety of Gala Lane, plus they actually also plow the neighbors' driveways.
It's always a good way to be a good neighbor. So I just think we need to look at that. I didn't have that information. Water supply on the site should be depicted. I believe it's wells. The wells should be shown. And then the board, during seeker review, can address potential traffic impacts of the use intensity on the site. But I think the only action the board could take tonight would be to schedule for the pre-application conference, preliminary conference.
So what triggers a preliminary conference?
I have a question. You said that none of the activities have been ongoing and there's not going to be any escalation of activities there?
Correct.
So I'm wondering why you are before us, and I had heard that that there was some letters sent out that I don't quite understand, but I would like to see a letter from the code enforcement officer explaining why this agricultural, we did not get that as part of our packet.
That's old. Oh, that was sent around?
Is that the one from Ag and Markets saying that when you have events?
No, that's
No, this is
present.
from July. They received a violation, I believe, that's why they're here.
So, let me see the violation.
So my understanding is that Ag and Markets sent a letter around to various building departments trying to clarify what's considered sole agricultural uses, what is considered, and I think it has, Cindy, more to do with the building itself than the actual events, because there were concerns by Ag and Markets that there were buildings that were hosting events that perhaps didn't meet fire and safety code, and that when you were asking the general or inviting the general public to be inside of those buildings, you had to meet certain fire and safety codes. So that then triggered this as potentially being a mixed use for agricultural. So in speaking with Tommy to this particular application, he said, you know, same thing like we just did for Kent, right? Because they were already in agricultural use, and when they put the barn in to be able to service the general public, we came in for site plan approval. And it was more or less an as-built site plan, and you show what the existing activities are, and then Tommy, from a building code perspective, reviews it and says, yes, the barn is capable of having events, or if not, then we're just going to use the 50 by 80 tent outside. So we did meet with the supervisor back in December. A lot of the agricultural community did. To my knowledge, Kaylee and Nick are the only ones to date who have applied to the planning board, because my understanding is that the other businesses were going to Ag and Markets and pleading their case with what their specific situations were to see if they could get a waiver to site plan. I really don't know how any of those stand at this point in time. But that's why when we made our application, you know, we asked for certain waivers. Like, I'm happy to take photographs of the lighting, but the light poles that are on the site are more than 70 feet below the roadway and not within 200 feet of any boundary line. So I would like to ask for a waiver of a photometric plan. And, you know, there are just the way we have regulations for accessory dwelling units. I'm hoping that the town board maybe will take into consideration specialized, streamlined site plan approval process for agricultural uses such as this that have been active agricultural farms making their living in agriculture and just want to have a very minor, did you have any weddings in 2025? 3 maybe? Less than 5. Yeah, so again, it's a very minor part of their operation, but to meet the code, we're here. But we're hoping that we can get some kind of a streamlined review, and since it has been an active facility for over 10 years, rather than delaying this and having another meeting, I was hoping that we would just be able to reach out to those individual agencies and get letters from them to try to streamline this process.
Basically only looking at the Milton Fire Department. You're not on town water or sewer.
Correct.
Correct?
Yep.
You are coming off a town highway. We could get a letter from John and the Milton Fire Department chief. Is that a county? That's a county road.
Latin Town Road is a county road, yeah.
Yes.
And they approved Gala Lane to be constructed. So, I mean, that approval was already granted.
Okay. I'm okay with waiving the preliminary and just asking for a letter from chief from the Milton Fire Department Is there any?
I'm still trying to understand, why all of a sudden we're expecting established farm operations to come before us for site plan review when it's always been the policy that Ag and Markets allows them to function as they do, unless for some reason that they're not following the proper Ag and Markets. It just seems very strange to me that all of a sudden we're going to start a different policy without necessarily having any change in our town code or any explanation from, the town board as to how this policy is now been apparently changed without our knowledge.
I don't think it's a matter of the policy changing. I think it's a matter of the barn specifically. And
It's
being
the use
health
of a
and
structure.
safety. And that was the difference with the Kents, was the use of the barn for special use.
But most of the other vineyards are using barns and barn facilities,
But I
and
think
they
that's
haven't
what,
come before us.
I didn't read the cease and desist, because I think that's what it really addresses, is the use of the barn. Because if they just wanted to not use the barn at all and just put up a tent, like they had said, they don't need to be in front of us.
Well, it's still
But they-
Go ahead, Hannah.
So I believe, and I didn't know that you spoke with the supervisor or that there was a meeting with the agricultural people. I wasn't aware of that, and that would have been probably really helpful information for me when reviewing this application, because I'm unaware of previous policies that the town has had, could only look at the code itself and then see what exactly the code allows. And so when I'm looking at this map, there's a couple things that I see. First of all, it looks like we have two lots. Both have a principal use of ag, but also both of them have a residence, which is also a principal use in the RAG 1 zone.
Correct. It's our ag, but that's considered agricultural when it's on the agricultural property. That's not considered a separate principal use.
A mixed use?
Not to the best of my knowledge.
That's something that we should have Tom confirm. I think
Okay.
that could make probably a big difference here for me, because the other part then is the issue of events, which I think does have in part to do with the barn, but it also has to do with the hosting of events as an accessory use, because in the RAG 1 zone, as in other zones, properties are allowed to have incidental and subordinate uses to their principal use. That's an accessory use. And so I'm thinking, without making a determination myself, that's probably the instance here that even corresponds with the Ag and Markets rule, which is that rural properties want to have weddings and want to have events. So I'm thinking that's probably what it falls under. The question is going to be then, if this is a mixed use, if it's not, probably no problem. But if it is, then we need to know which this use is accessory to.
Right, the agricultural is the primary use of the property.
But there's also, within the residence, there's a home occupation, which is the tasting room. And
Yes.
I believe the approval for the tasting room, which is a special use permit, specifically said that there would be no events held. But the events aren't going to extend to the tasting room, they're just going to be within this separate structure, is that correct?
Correct, yep, the public events, the weddings, the things like that. I mean, they do have tastings at the tasting room. That always was part of,
As part of these events?
no, not as part, no, they're separate.
So probably it's not an issue, but I think what I'm thinking is probably correct. We may not need to have a preliminary, but there needs to be some kind of determination made by Tom about the uses of residential and ag, and whether this kind of event use can be an accessory, meaning incidental and subordinate use to an agricultural use. I think probably the finding is likely yes, but Tom should make that finding, I think, so
Okay.
that the planning board can rely upon that in determining this application. Because I think if events are an accessory use, then it's appropriate that you're before the board to get site plan approval for that accessory use.
For the accessory use. And I believe that is what my understanding was.
Okay.
I also would like to see if the board agrees that we let the town board know that we're concerned about this whole cease and desist thing that is going to affect our town farms and how they operate and how they do their business, and that I think it's something that really needs to be perhaps looked at as to whether some definitions have to be put in our own code as to the level of site plan approval that needs to be done for certain activities or for certain buildings. But the town, it's been the town's policy to allow farms to operate pretty much under ag and market law. And now I feel like the town is starting to say, oh, well, now we think we have to look closer at these things, so we're going to kind of blanket everybody to come in for site plan when maybe it's not even necessarily applicable because we haven't really defined in our codes where those thresholds are. I don't know, that's what I'm thinking.
Perhaps so, and I think probably pointing this out to the town board would be a good idea. I think there probably are benefits to having some restrictions on events. I'm thinking there could be misuse of this provision if there isn't planning board oversight, that events could really mean anything. Events could be a huge, I'm not even going to say what kind of events, something crazy with a lot of people and a lot of traffic and a lot of noise. And so perhaps there's, some reason behind it, but perhaps pointing this out to the town board and having them take a really strong, legislative look at the code, I think is probably appropriate. As for this application, we can only proceed with the code as it is.
And did you see this?
Yes, that is the violation. And attached to that is the prior approval for the tasting room, which notes that no events can be held.
Exactly, because it talks about the following relative reports is approved by supermajority application. They disagreed with all the Ulster County Planning Board.
They overrode.
They overrode all the recommendations from the Ulster County Planning Board.
To find that the wine tasting was a home occupation.
Right.
So it's a special use permit for that structure.
For the wine tasting room.
But that's not where the events will be held. The events will
That's
be
correct.
held in the barn, which is on the other parcel?
That's correct. There are two contiguous properties under the same ownership, and because the primary residence is on one and the barn is on another, their attorney had suggested when they purchased the property, they do it as two separate parcels, and financing purpose, there's multiple reasons for keeping them separate.
And which lot is the residence with the tasting room?
The southerly lot, it's the westerly, all the way up on top of the hill.
This one. That's not it. And there is another residence, that's a 1 or 2 family residence on the lot 2 as well?
Yes, yep, it's a small cottage that's always been rented. Again, this property at one point in time had multiple labor housing units on it. The area where the barn is right now is where the mobile homes were that serviced those residents. That's what the well is from, and the existing septic system was constructed many years ago to service those families. There were 4 mobile homes there that housed between 20 and 25 full-time workers. So we have not had the Board of Health analyze the septic system. We haven't had any issues with it, with any of events that have occurred on site, and they actually have in their contract that when they have an event over a certain number of people, the contract vendees are responsible for bringing in portable toilets so that they don't overburden the septic system.
So the events will only extend in this tiny area on lot 2. They won't extend into lot 1?
Correct. And we showed the parking, we showed some of the signage. They show that if you look in the lower right-hand side, the director, do you want a larger size copy, Hannah? So
That would be great. I'm looking at a tiny size version. I think
So they come in Gala Lane this way. When you get here, there's a directional sign, number 2, that says if you're going to the tasting room, you go up the hill. If you're going to the barn for weddings and private events, you make the right. This is a one-way blacktop driveway. There's parking here. There's a gravel lane that goes around for overflow parking here. There's additional parking here. And then this is one way out when the events are over.
Okay. Entry, exit.
Yes,
Everything is taking place right here.
yes. The weddings oftentimes will take down around the pond area where the lighting is there, or am I incorrect on that? The ceremonies themselves. Down in here. Yep. So the weddings generally take in place here and then back here for the,
So really, the finding, if the finding is that a residence on an ag use parcel is all just agricultural principal use, then you're only really seeking an accessory use for the one parcel.
Yes.
You only need to do site plan for this lot 2.
yeah, the reason that we showed it is because access is over Lot 1, so I tried to show an overall
I appreciate
concept.
And this is all already approved then, I think?
Yeah, everything up here is approved.
All of this?
Mm-hmm.
Parking?
Yep.
This is all part of this?
Yeah, that's all part of that.
So I think we should just hear from Tom. And
Okay.
then we can go from there.
Thank you very much.
So what are we doing, Hannah?
We're going to hear from Tom, and then we're going to go from there.
So we're going to just,
We'll come back for the next meeting.
Okay.
We'll get some kind of determination. Would you like to reach out to him?
Oh, yeah, I'll reach out to Tom. We'll be back in 2
On the
weeks.
16th.
On the 16th, and hopefully at that point in time, we'll be able to schedule a public hearing.
okay. And I'm okay with, let's reach out to the fire chief of Milton.
Oh, yeah, I'll reach out to
And get-
the
let's get a
highway
letter.
superintendent, the fire chief.
Yeah.
We'll try and cover all the bases and have
And-
all that back within 2 weeks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, is that good with everybody?
Anything else?
Okay. Good, Cindy?
I'm still trying to understand why, if we're talking about public health, safety, and welfare, can a building inspector just go and inspect the barn or whatever to see if it's safe without having to go through an entire site plan?
I don't think it's just a question of safety, it's a question of use, because an accessory use, which is potentially what these events are, requires site plan review and approval by the planning board.
But where does ag and markets come in? If that accessory use is agricultural use, then I thought ag and markets has,
Right.
they have the ability to do that under those laws.
That should be part of the interpretation that Tom makes.
But hasn't he, in a sense, made it by sending out the cease and desist?
Yes?
So in other words, they've changed the policy of the town, and they're making everybody come in based on just the fact that they're looking at events happening, the use.
As an accessory use to the principal use, which is the agricultural
Right,
principal use.
which is allowed under ag and markets.
Yeah, and I think that is where the question is arising, is an event considered solely an agricultural use, or does it expand beyond what ag and markets considers to be an agricultural use? And that is why they've decided to apply, because because they wanted to move forward, and that's why so many of the other agricultural users have opted not to apply at this point in time, but get an independent review and analysis from ag and markets independently.
Right,
And I
but
would-
at the same time, the town has changed its policy at this point by doing this.
It appears so.
Well, anyone who gets a violation, everyone should be reminded that anyone who gets a violation based on a determination from the building inspector can always appeal that to the ZBA within the statute of limitations period.
Okay. Where's ag and markets? Is that through Ulster County or is that statewide?
It's a state law. It's state law, ag and markets.
All right, thank you very much.
So we're going to adjourn the meeting. Motion to adjourn. Joe, seconded by Fred. All in favor?